There we go.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Sorry to anyone who's been waiting for us. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, which was me trying to find my Zoom link. So I had to wait for a new one. I apologize. We'll get the meeting started at 6:05 on April 6th. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the agenda now that we've all found it?
Yes.
Any additions, deletions, questions, concerned? Okay, we'll get a motion to accept the agenda then as printed. Bert and Steve. Okay, everyone in favor? Perfect. All right, and has anybody had, or everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our March meeting? No questions, concerns, business arising?
No, I did.
No?
read them.
Okay, so a motion to accept the minutes. Heather? Bert, you shook your head. We're going to go with you. All in favor? All right, perfect. Those are approved. Pecuniary interest. Anybody have any that they know of off the top here? If not, you can declare it as we move along. Reports. Section 5. We had regrets from Justin Diaz, the Economic Development Officer. His report is there. I'm sure if there was anything, we can send him an email or questions if anyone has any, or we could also throw Jeff Brick under the bus. He could probably take a swing at a few things if he thought he could. But does anyone have any questions, concerns they'd like Trish to email to Justin to ask? Okay, well, if you find you do, please just reach out and we'll ask him. All right, on to 5.2, Jeff Brick.
So I'm going to start by giving 2 or 3 quick updates, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dan to introduce Ed Pimentel, and Ed is on screen, but I'll just do my quick updates, see if there's any questions for me, and then the rest of the show will be Dan and Ed. Number 1, Westperth terminated the state of emergency today that we've been in since near the beginning of the pandemic. North Perth, Perth East, Westperth, and the county of the Perth all remove that today. It doesn't make a big difference in our operations. It's really a technicality. It does change our abilities to do certain things at the executive level, but it was time. And we've moved on. The key message is that the pandemic's not over. We're not at the endemic stage, but we have moved out of the state of emergency. If we had to go back into lockdowns and things like that, the mayor, in conjunction with the Community Emergency Control Group, and our CEMC is Dan, the clerk, we could make a decision if we want to go back in again. But for now, we have revoked that state of emergency. It's been terminated. Secondly, the Westbrook budget was approved, and the levy increase was about 5%. The actual tax implications of that won't be final until the county approves their budget, but it's in the area of 3.6%, where the county currently is, and they're just looking at distribution ratios. So we'll be a bit getting that finalized, and then an interim bill will go out. The Friendship Center sale is scheduled for Thursday, May the 5th at 4 p.m. by live public auction on site. The advertising for that will begin in the Mitchell Advocate next Wednesday. So it'll be in next Wednesday's edition. The website will go live in the next day or two, and we'll be putting the information package on the website, everything right down to the terms and conditions of sale. The property is zone C1. It's obviously a part of our downtown core. The survey will be on the website and all that information. So I think it's of particular interest to the BIA because of it being a downtown property that can serve as a retail outlet, or it has a very wide range of uses in the C1. And of course, it's got good proximity. So that's there for you. You can watch for our socials over the next few weeks and watch for the advertising from the Mitchell Advocate. And finally, I have a question for the BIA about whether or not the BIA would like to ask council again for the summer of 2022 to continue with the relaxed patio rules that we had in 2020 and 2021 to help businesses through the pandemic. So what the relaxed rules allowed was we didn't enforce the need for strict color coordination. We didn't collect a fee, and we waived deposit fees. My comment to the BIA is if the BIA felt it was appropriate to request it be extended one more year, I think it would be fine. It's a recovery kind of situation. And as a staff person at the municipality, I think we do need to bring the bylaw back to normal compliance eventually, but one more year is probably acceptable. Yes. And that's my report.
Well, let's before we jump into more, let's address what Jeff just mentioned. I'm sure I see all the resounding nods, yeses, that give businesses one more year. But do we want to have Trish put that formal request in on our behalf?
Yeah, we should
recommend a resolution. Just get a mover and a seconder and go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a mover for that. Dustin put his hand up, and we'll seconded by Steve. And all in favor, and we'll have that put forward then. Thanks, Jeff. Okay.
Thanks very much. I want to now turn it over to Dan, Dan Hobson, the clerk, to introduce Ed Pimentel.
Good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, as Jeff mentioned, Ed is here from Tenant Security. They've started with us and they've been working with us for a few weeks now. We have had pretty successful response from the community as far as we can tell, and we've had a pickup of calls. Ed and his team have had some focus on the downtown area, and hopefully you've noticed their car or their members down there by foot. I will pass it over to Ed, but I will just quickly ask that, if there are specific complaints anyone would like to address, that we take them outside of the meeting, and we can ask Ed to contact you, and he will do so, and we can talk about the complaint there. But otherwise, I'll let Ed give it more of an intro, and if there's any questions, please feel free to ask, and Ed or I will get to them.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Dan, for that intro. Just a little bit about me. I'm the president and managing director of Tenant Security Group. We are a small group out of Lucan, nearby. And so we have a nucleus of about 3 or 4 to 5 people who are specifically trained in Bylaw. I started this company just because of, I think, there is a niche, I guess, a gap that somewhat is left behind, as we know, with especially the rural communities where the OPP can't be everywhere and be everything to everyone. So I thought maybe perhaps this is a great opportunity to look at something, especially knowing that I'm near retirement, and I thought maybe perhaps I can do something like this. I come from 30 plus years of public policing, corporate security, and private policing. I have a core group, like I mentioned, with 3 individuals in particular. I have one main person who's the lead in the Mitchell Bylaw project. I do at times, quite often, fill in. I think I do that not out of necessity, but as of need. I want to do this. I want to be a part of it. I think everybody in our group has a vested interest in making this work. I think I know these individuals quite well. I think I've always had this philosophy that, it's the person that makes the uniform. It's how you interact with people that makes a huge difference. And I think with our background, I think Jim comes from a rural background. He's a farmer. Mary, we have Jim, Mary, and they both were raised on a farm. So they're very in tune to that kind of, I'm not sure it's a way of life, but, understanding people and their predicament or your challenges. I know that, we are very excited to be a part of this, to provide service for Mitchell. And I know that, we are growing. We are slowly, figure out logistically, making our way through this. And I think everything's going well. And I'm just, again, happy be part of this whole thing. So again, there's ways to contact us. I think through the website, we have a 24-hour, 7 days a week answering service. I think it goes a long way when you call someone or you make a complaint or something and you actually speak to a person versus, through an email per se. But there's options there either way. So we've been working away and we've had positive experiences, positive responses. And I think, we make an effort to, deal with a call and then follow up with the complaint as much as we can. So that's it. I don't know if there's any questions for me. Please let me know.
I think I just wanted something I thought maybe the board would know is sort of the approach that you are trying to take is more, correct me if I'm wrong, more educational as opposed to enforcement to begin with. Maybe if you want to touch on that just really briefly with everyone, just your approach.
Absolutely. It's more of it's progressive in nature. So I think through education awareness is where we will get compliance. We will obviously work with anyone in terms of providing them options so they can be bylaw compliant. We have no issues with that. And so that is our main focus. It's always been our main focus is to work with the community members to find a solution first and foremost. And only if there's no other solution or other way out of it, and if the complainant still wants to continue on, then we will pursue with charges. But that's always our last resort. And right now, we've been getting a lot of compliance just through talking to individuals, giving them some options to correct whatever needs to be corrected, find that happy median. And I think whoever, like, I'm not sure. I think I've used this analogy before, where it used to be a game show back in the day called Let's Make a Deal. And so it's like we're between two people, like we're mitigating an incident or whatever complaint. And we get into, well, how about we do this? How about we do that? Would you be okay with it? And we find a lot of resolution through that approach. And so we also, I forgot to mention as well that we'll have a presence, obviously doing foot patrols, but we also have a presence on a mountain bike. We'll be patrolling parkways and things like that. We do have somebody who's actually police trained on a mountain bike that will come out every so often to show a presence in the parkways as well. So.
Very good. I know that the majority of businesses downtown are very happy to see you. So that's great. Does anyone have any questions? General questions?
Yeah, I do, Sherry.
Yep.
Please meet you, Ed.
Likewise.
I've seen your crew downtown. I've seen your fancy car. It's very noticeable, which is good. Just wondering, do you do any private security for any businesses if they want it for when you're in town for, let's say, for 2 hours or anything like that?
I can't necessarily, by legislation, I just can't switch hats. So I cannot be a bylaw officer working as a bylaw officer and then switch over to being a security guard per se.
Right.
It has to be separate. And do we provide security services as a company? We do. Okay. I just can't do both.
No,
but there's a way around it, but I'm not going to get into it now. I think there's a lot more to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't switch hats that way. I think indirectly though, a presence of a bylaw officer dealing with an incident, we can always deal with something. It's just a matter of whether or not, we pursue it to a point where, it gets to a point where we're crossing borders. We're crossing that medium between a bylaw officer and a security guard. So, we have no problems with dealing with, like you said, if maybe we've already been had a complaint about, something's happening behind a business where they're potentially, drinking and that kind of stuff. And we have no problems coming around. And a lot of the times the unknown that makes it, people be more compliant. So they don't know what we can or cannot do. And so we use that to our advantage. And if there's a time where we have to use it and they don't know, we'll certainly do that. But it gets to a point where we can only go so far with that.
Yep. Okay. Good to know. Thanks.
Okay.
Anything else? Anything anyone's curious about? What are your hours? What are your basic days or hours here in town?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll grab that one, Ed. Sorry.
Go
Yeah,
on.
so basically for now, we're just kind of working through a bit of a set schedule, but we are adapting that as need be, and we're just really looking to gather information on the complaints and when kind of the hot times are and that type of thing. So we're not publishing a schedule for multiple reasons. Hopefully you can appreciate that one of them, if they always know bylaws out there at whatever shift, then maybe they're not going to do what they're doing. So we're kind of keeping that flexible and organic for now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, thank you for that. That was very informational. And it's really good for us to know as we get questions. I really like the educational part of it first. I think it'll go a long way on our downtown, just educating people as to what they thought they could be doing for all these years, and now they find out they can't. So, oh, I know. I do have a question for you. This is just a general question, because a business did ask me to ask you this. What's our smoking bylaw on Main Street in front of businesses? Do we have one? We don't have to go into specifics. I just want to know, do we have an enforceable smoking bylaw in front of businesses? That was a question that one of the businesses asked me yesterday, actually.
There are, I shouldn't say, sorry, am I muted? Oh no, muted. As far as I know, again, we're going through this as we go along. I don't think there is a smoking bylaw. No. The only time you get into smoking rules is anywhere near a hospital, entrance of a hospital. I know some of the business owners downtown, they put the old 9-meter rule in front of an entranceway, but there's no rule for that. Under the provincial smoking rules, you cannot smoke under a kind of a rooftop of a business. And even the rooftop can be as minimal as long as you have like a little bit, even could be a corner of a building. If it's attached to the building, part of the building or office area or workplace. And if it's sided by at least 3 corners, then no one can smoke there. And that's more of a provincial piece of legislation than it is a bylaw one. But the way it is now, there isn't one in place, as far as I know.
Yeah, and I'll just add that this is a bit of a rabbit hole, and it will require some additional research. And I know the last time I got asked this question, it would be 2 or 3 years ago anyway. And I tried to get some satisfaction through the health unit and through a number of resources, and it was a very circular discussion. And I think Ed has shed more light on it in a minute than I was able to with a half day of research. So I think we can do more digging, but it is a complex question in our downtown because we don't have the kinds of businesses that normally would have a prohibition. So yeah, so we could do the research, I suspect, Dan and Ed.
Absolutely. I just want to add, usually the smoking enforcement falls under the health unit, and they have their own smoking enforcement people. If you had a complaint, if you can give them a time and date, will do a proactive patrol, and they're in plain clothes. They'll come by and they'll badge somebody, and their fines are quite hefty. It's just a matter of finding out a time and when it is occurring, and then we would just have to contact them, and then they will make their way by, and they'll do their own patrols. Yeah.
Okay, good. I will actually direct that business owner to watch this, if they're not already watching us live right now, to come back and watch this so that they have a little bit more answers. I think it makes it kind of convoluted downtown when you have apartments up above the businesses, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it sort of makes it a little bit of a slippery slope or a gray area there. Okay. Seeing nothing more there. Thank you, Ed. We'll move on then to Trish's BIA coordinator report. I'm really glad you came, Ed. I appreciate it. And you're more than welcome to stay on and listen as we work through the rest of it, for sure.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure, and I'm happy to be at Mitchell.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I sent out a little synopsis in advance of the meeting, and I'm going to try to do that each month so that it kind of cuts down on my speaking each meeting, so that we can focus more on events if we need the time to do that. So did anyone have any questions about the report that went out in advance? Okay, then that's all I really have to say for that piece. The next piece would be the street party that we're going to talk about later. So if there's no questions on that, then I can come back online in a bit.
Actually, Trish, don't go far because the street party you are 5.3 BIA coordinator report and 5.4 is a spring street party, Trish.
Perfect. Okay. I didn't realize it was right after. Sorry about that. So I'm going to share my screen here. Because this did not go out in the agenda package in advance of the meeting. So this is a little synopsis that I had sent to the board last night because we had talked about having a spring street party. I apologize for the lateness on it. The contact at the Advocate had a bit of a family emergency, and so we haven't been able to connect for a little bit. So we were able to connect last night. We got Andy looped in, and this is what I've come up with. So if we're going to hold the spring street party, it would be we were talking about looping it in at the same time as the townwide yard sale weekend, which would be Saturday, May 28th. And I just kind of chose a time slot of 10 to 2 because most businesses are open until at least 1 and some open anywhere from 8 to 10. So we wouldn't really be asking businesses to stay open that much later. I had got some quotes for advertising. So if we wanted to pursue radio, this is just one of the options. Was the Stratford radio station. It's 750 plus tax, which is the buy 25 ads, get 35 for free. So that was one idea. We can advertise on both radio stations, and it's going to cost about double if we did that. So my suggestion is to pick the May package and just do the one radio station. Then I've got the advertising, print and digital coverage with the Mitchell Advocate. So what Andy and the sales rep have committed to, well, I'm not sure Andy fully knows this yet, but what the sales rep and I talked about was doing 1/8 page ads for 3 weeks that would be $0 to us. And then we would run a digital campaign for approximately a month, April 20th to the May 28th for $500. On May 11th, we would get Andy to do an editorial in the newspaper. And then May 18th, if we bought a full page ad, it would be $500. That full page could be advertising the townwide yard sale, some of the little things that are happening downtown, not specific business related. And then on May 25th, they would throw in one more of those promotional ads, 1/8 of a page, but we would have to advertise it to say that it's happening this weekend sort of thing. So $1,000 plus tax is what would cover all of those ads. And then I also listed the coverage that she's willing to put: the Goddard Focus, the Stratford Marketplace, the Mitchell Advocate, and then the Exeter Weekender. So it would hit all of those towns. And then some other events that I was thinking, we would invite the associate members downtown like we've done in the past for the Christmas street party. Maybe we would see if Skyline Studios would have the students perform like they did a couple of years ago now. We could talk to YNCU about having BIA bucks on sale, and I would suggest maybe if we did a 10% off that day only for those hours. Westperth Public Library has already reached out to me about doing a story walk. So she's already sent me a little blurb that I would put in the newsletter. So they basically have like a printed storybook that you would go around downtown. So they would need businesses that would put like an 11 by 17 piece of laminated paper in their window. People could kind of window shop and walk and read this story. It's pretty neat. Same with the youth center. I've been in contact with them. They might run their own thing and we would just kind of help promote them being open. Or we could maybe borrow some of the youth to help with some stuff downtown. And then just something as like an extra piece, I thought, if, we can't always get the alpacas or whatever downtown, what if we looked at getting giant outdoor games? So I kind of, for now, I've just looked at Amazon. I haven't contacted any local businesses to see what they can order in. I'm sure Value Mart and Home Hardware could probably, even Ace might be able to order some things. But that's approximately $300 to $400 for multiple games that I was thinking. And of course, they're all plastic, so it is wipeable. So there's no COVID concerns there. So this was just kind of a rough layout for the spring street party. Any questions, comments, concerns on that?
Can I get, oh, thank you.
Mhm.
I know we chatted very briefly about approaching Plinko, or has had, was it Bank? Was
Oh,
it
Plinko, yeah, sorry, you cut out. Yep.
Sorry, was Scotiabank, I think at one point had Plinko. So we could give away BIA dollars on, you know, $20 on the Plinko game, possibly something to add to the list.
Okay.
Any events that happen this year, I think are all going to be well attended because nobody has gone to any events in 2 years. So I think we don't have to worry about the, you know, a downtown street party garage sale on the townwide garage sale on the same day not being attended well, especially with great advertising like that. What's everybody else's thoughts?
Sorry, I should throw in one more thing too. It's actually Fastball Fest that weekend. So there's over 60 teams coming to town. So it's another opportunity, I think, just for us to loop an event in with the townwide yard sale and Fastball Fest. Hopefully people would come down and attend. So
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Trish, everybody. Get my video on here. With those giant games, do you think Party Supply Company would have anything in Stratford we could rent? Or know of any place where we could rent them instead of just, I think you're talking about buying those games, Trish?
yeah, I thought about buying so that we would have them for like multiple events going forward, just like something extra to have in our back pocket. But
yeah, I'm okay with that too. I'm just curious. Like, I think it's a great idea. I've never thought of those games before, but I think it's a wonderful idea to get people interactive doing things. Anything to get them to spend more time downtown is good. With the advertising, I'm just trying to bring it up my phone and I couldn't. I don't know whether you can bring it back up on your screen. I do have a question. If you can scroll down to where it says advertise print and digital. Can you go down a little bit more?
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. Those promotional ads that are free. Now, are they just online or they're in the paper too, or is it a combination of both?
Those ones are in the paper. So it's an 1/8 of a page in the paper.
Okay.
And then the digital ad that's $500 would be the promotional ones that'll pop up on people's Facebook and on the advocate's website.
And that digital ad that you have on there from April 20th to May 28th, is that the same ad or are we able to change it on every week or every 2 weeks or et cetera?
I think it's the same ad, but I can ask if it's possible to change it even every couple weeks.
I know that time of year would be advertising the garage sale anyways, but just it gets stale looking like it's going to be on there for a month. So people will stop looking at it, I think, if we can't change it up, or even if it's the same message and different format.
Okay. Yep. I'll ask.
Yeah. Just so it doesn't get stale looking.
Yep.
I think it's a great cost. I think it's, $1,000 isn't bad at all for that much advertising.
And I think it's kind of like our, we're not completely out of COVID, but it's kind of like our coming out of COVID party, I feel like. And I think it's a good opportunity if the townwide yard sales go and we can help promote that on our ad. And Fastball Fest is coming. I just think it's a good opportunity. There's going to be so many people in town.
Right. I totally agree.
I think the event will be as good as the participation we all put into it. If I can be very blunt, I think the event will be as good as us businesses put effort into it. If we as businesses do not put effort into it, it will not be successful. If that makes sense. I think we need to, I think we all need to jump on board with both feet. And I think we need to encourage all the other businesses to sort of jump on board and support, the BIA. We've really been struggling along with the businesses the last 2 years to try to support everybody. And this is sort of our way to sort of kickstart it back off, I think.
Yeah. With the fastball tournament going on that weekend too, is there any way to send out advertising to the the ball team's contacts? Can we get a list from the whoever's organizing the ball tournament to send out so they can, give to their parents or their parents of the players and things like that to promote our downtown too?
Yep, I know who's running Fastball Fest, so I can reach out to her about putting the word out there.
Yeah,
especially the restaurants but we're in the restaurants up front.
Yeah, for sure. And let them know.
No offense, but Andy will tell you, bring an umbrella. Fastball Fest has this tendency of rain.
It's true every year.
Well, usually for a day, it's like the Mitchell Fall Fair. You get a day of rain.
It's just, you mentioned Fastball Fest and it thinks rain. Anyway, that's just a joke.
The other thing that Andy had mentioned too, because when I was talking to them in previous years, so going back to 2019 or 2018, when you had the last townwide yard sale, people, like businesses, could buy little squares kind of around the map that they had. So I found out from Andy that the advocates always kind of spearheaded gathering the names and places and like little word ads to go in the paper to say, like 123 Wellington Street's having a garage sale. They've got this, this, and this. The advocate used to collect all that. They no longer have their building downtown. They don't have the staff to do that. So it's not something they're promoting doing. If people want to call the advocate and put an ad in, they're more than welcome to. When it comes to the business ads, I talked about like, what if we reserved a full page and then had businesses buy a little 2x2 or 2x4 square ad, and maybe the BIA could help to subsidize the ad if necessary. And they both, in conversation with them, felt that it's not really worth doing. If businesses want to advertise, they can. Some businesses may not advertise. They might just kind of ride the coattails of businesses that have advertised. So if we just put out a generic townwide yard sale, spring street party ad, then you're kind of promoting everybody. And if Steve, you want to put your full page ad in with all your specials for that day, you can go ahead and do so, right? Or if Walters is having 20% off, they can go ahead and put that in. Just as an option.
I'm sure the advocate will be coming around with some type of advertising package for the businesses too, for that.
Yes. Yeah. So Deb is going to reach out to businesses to say, hey, like if we are going to have this spring street party the same day as the yard sale and promote it all in one, she's going to reach out to businesses and say, hey, this is happening. Do you want to advertise? So she will be reaching out.
So
I think we should do the spring street party same day, because you got the captive audience there, so you can also leverage off of it for sure.
So, Trish, the advocate doesn't have that map in the paper anymore. Is that correct?
Correct.
Where the garage are or yard sales?
So it's something that Pam used to. So they would call in and people would tell Pam like, "Hey, I'm having a garage sale. This address. This is what I've got." And then they would make this little pinpoint map, and it just became, again, kind of convoluted because people just rode the coattails of the homeowners that put an ad in. So according to Andy, it sounds like they got rid of it quite a few years ago. Like, it's been gone for quite a while. So they won't, and when word gets out that it's happening, people are going to come to town regardless, and they're going to drive around town and be nosy at the new subdivisions, and they're going to drive all over the town anyways. So we'll catch them.
That didn't cost the homeowners any money though, did it? Like the ones who were putting the garage?
I don't think, but then Andy did mention, he did mention that there was a small fee at one time. So this is kind of like, we were kind of bouncing between multiple years. Sounds like it didn't cost, but it did at one time. And so they've just done away with it.
So I'm just wondering what, like our full page, or if we do the full page ad, what it would entail.
It could be something like, announcing townwide yard sale, spring street party, come see what downtown has to offer. Maybe if we had the alpacas out, if we have street games, YNCU has got our BIA bucks on sale, kind of like promoting ourselves, promoting the BIA and some of the things that we have downtown. And then again, if the businesses want to advertise themselves, they can.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Okay. Are you
think so.
looking, Trish, or do we need to make a motion on that advertising? Or
I
I know
was
I missed
just-
the last couple meetings. Has that all been?
I know, I think we should make a motion. If everyone agrees with the radio, we'll have to make a motion for Trish to proceed with the radio and print and digital advertising as presented, unless anyone would like to make a change to that. Do you want to pop it back up on screen again,
Sure.
quick, Trish?
Yep.
Just before whoever motions that, in case there's anything you want to tweak or change on that. Otherwise, we will make the motion for as presented. So there it is, the radio. And
That radio
promotion.
advertising is for one day only.
So this radio advertising is 25 ads on the radio throughout the month of May. So when you buy 25, you get 35 for free. So the only thing with this package, and again, if you guys are open to it, I can pull up the $1,600 package they sent me that would have them live on location with the cruiser and the signs. But my suggestion is let's dabble in this and then maybe go bigger later.
Okay, does somebody want to make that? I'll get it on share so I can see everyone. Sorry, someone want to make the motion for Trish to proceed and to accept the advertising proposal as printed? And everybody jump at once. Steve?
I think it's a great idea for both of them.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Seconded by Dustin. Okay, yeah, that was radio and advertising as presented. So that's Steve and Dustin. Everyone is in favor then? Perfect. Okay, so we're going to move on to 5.5.
Hang on, Sherry, while you're there.
Yeah.
One more comment about advertising, or
okay.
would we at that same time, would we want to do cable TV?
I think so.
Cable TV. Well, obviously we don't have to decide that tonight. We can still do that in the May meeting, I guess.
I think cable TV is a relatively inexpensive way.
That's what I
like
think.
we have the cable TV running in our salon 24/7, and I'm surprised how many people sit and watch it and read it and go, "Oh, I didn't know that was on." So it's relatively inexpensive, is it not, Trish?
So it used to cost nothing, but I know last time I tried to run an event, they were talking about not running stuff for businesses. So I need to reach out and see what their new standards are. So I wrote that down.
Okay, we'll bring that back to May.
Yeah, I know they used to
we
do
get a
it
cost.
they used to do it like for $50 for 2 weeks or something like that. Like
Yeah, and 2 weeks is probably all we needed
Oh,
on
for sure.
anyway.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
perfect, good question.
It costs nothing if it was a community event. And so this would be a community event, but I'll follow up.
Okay, sorry, everybody froze up there. Okay, so we're good to move on then to the speaking of more advertising and promotions. This was something that got sent out in the agenda package. Hopefully everyone had a chance to read all the bits and pieces about what it costs for the sign and such. I wish I could take credit for it, actually. Well, I'm going to give the credit where the credit is due. Walter McKenzie actually brought this to my attention, something that he was thinking about, utilizing the town sign a little bit more. So I had a brief discussion with Trish to try to figure out how we could make it work. So the original idea was that Walter had was that we give every business and associate member one free week on the BIA sign, or I mean, sorry, pardon me, on the town sign. But as Trish and I sort of went through the numbers, I think we said that would take about 2 years to make that happen. So I think it's a great idea. I think it utilizes the sign. I think it gives businesses who would never have thought of using the sign a free opportunity to give it a try, and they may purchase time on their own. It's $35 for a week. So the thought we kind of threw out there to talk about tonight was, what if we put every one of our over 100 businesses and associate members' names in a hat, and we drew out, and what do we have, 9 months left in the year? So we drew out 9, and each one of those businesses got one free week. And in the order that we draw them, that's the month. So the first one out gets May or April, second one gets May, June, and we gift them as a BIA a free month of advertising on the sign. Thoughts?
free week, I think, not month, right?
Sorry, did I say month?
Yeah.
1 week per month. I got ahead of myself there.
Sure.
Open
Sure,
to
why not?
discussion on that. We got to do, this is it. We haven't spent any money in 2 years. And we're really trying our best here to be a BIA that
Yeah.
supports our businesses. I think it's beneficial to the town to get more usage on the
Yeah.
sign. And I think it also introduces the sign advertising to people that wouldn't necessarily think about doing it.
How many advertisements can you put on the sign at one time?
Jeff Brick. Oh, did he disappear on us? There he is.
No. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to say darn you. Darn you. I'm not ready for that. I used to know this off by heart, what the cycle was. I think it's 10 seconds and it takes 3 minutes. So 10 seconds per ad. So that's 6 per minute, 4-minute cycle, 24 ads perhaps can be running. And then it cycles every 4 minutes. Now the new software is a little bit different, but it's in that ballpark.
Okay. Like Sarah,
Ballpark's
you're talking about one business per week?
No, one business gets 1 week per month.
Okay.
As a draw, like we'll do a draw and we'll put all 100 plus businesses in. We have April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We have 9 months left. So we could gift 9. It's 35. And I hope everybody read it. It's $35 on tax.
Yeah. But no, I'm just
over
saying
9 months. So $400 is what we'd be looking at spending. Approximately.
Could we not run 2 businesses a week?
Then we're looking at $800.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's whatever the board, where we, it's wherever we're sitting financially and how much. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea. I give Walter credit. I thought it was a fantastic idea. I just don't think we can do every business because it would literally take 2 years to do that. And so I think we need to be careful that we don't give away too many and we leave some people out. So 2, maybe a month, whatever you guys think. Up for discussion.
No, two per week though. This is per week, not by the month, is it not?
Sorry, 2 per month, 2 per month, 2 per week. What you guys discuss?
Why?
How would you like to see it work?
Walter's idea was 2 or 1 per month for 1 week.
No,
right?
Walter's idea was to gift every single business 1 week, but that would take us 2 years to do it. So that's a little bit too big. So then Trish and I discussed doing a draw where we chose 1 name per month and gave them a week, but we could do 2 per month and give them each a week. That would be $800.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So if we had 2 years, which is 104 weeks times $40, like that's a big chunk of our advertising. It would take 2 years to get to every business.
So it's really not a gift then. It's a slotted. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It loses that gift idea or that promotional idea.
Revenue for the town. Yeah. Which is fine.
So I suggested we draw 9 business names out of our and gift them each week, but we could draw 18 and give 2 weeks away a month, whatever you think.
I'm saying, why don't we do 1 a week for the rest of the year?
Well, what's that budget? What's that budget amount then? So that's, let's say average $40 times 4 times 9. That's 1,400 approximately. That's 1,400.
Yeah. That way you could get all the businesses in a lot quicker. Like we got 75 businesses, do we not?
We have 100 plus businesses. 100? Trish, what do we have, including associate members?
Yeah, it's just over 100.
Just over 100.
Yeah.
So it'd take a year, 50 weeks to get if you went 2 a week. That's if the town has the advertising room to put on the board.
Correct. We'd have to make that assumption. So I think this is a better way to start, but so if we did 1 a week,
right? I would propose that we do 1 a week.
That's 4 times 9. That would give us 36 businesses. We'd be able to.
And the BIA would pay for it, right?
Correct.
Okay. And let's say we drew a name. Excuse me.
Yes.
And for someone, let's say it's Bert's store, and he's up the the first week of May and he says, well, I don't want to do it then he just loses out.
He loses out.
And then that gives you opportunity to draw another business.
Yeah.
So
Potentially.
Sherry, I just had an inquiry from a business,
Okay,
just emailed
perfect.
me.
Yep.
Do you ask the business if they want to participate rather than give them a spot and then not use it? And businesses that are seasonal might want to pick and choose their month. So if you draw them all up front and then businesses can pick which month they want. That makes sense because like if the garden center is one, right? Like they're seasonal. So why would we put an ad up in December for them?
It does.
Mhm.
I agree. But what if 5 people want the same month? Then what do we do?
First come,
Hypothetical.
first
Devil's
serve?
advocate. Devil's advocate. What if all 6 of the 36 people all want July? Then what do we do? That was the only, and I'm not disagreeing. I think you have a very, very valid point. That's why I was just saying we pull it out of a hat and we say, here's where we're at. But I don't know.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, you may.
Because I think it's a fantastic idea, and we got to stop pumping the mayor's tires. But he had a good idea here.
He did have a great idea.
My suggestion would be that you push really hard in the newsletter and ask people to sign up to be in on the draw, and it can be a bit of an incentive to make sure you've read the newsletter. Encourage people to sign up by a certain date, and you're going to start doing draws. And when you do the draws, have them write the date they want in, and when they tell you that they want in, have them identify what their ideal window is and get them to open up a nice big window, and hopefully you can meet everybody's demands. And if you don't, you sort of make it right with them in the next year's cycle. So I think staff can probably manage something like that, but I think you need to ask people to sign up rather than signing them up, because there are lots of businesses that wouldn't benefit, the closed ones, for example, that are technically members. But so I think they should do something to get in on the draw.
Okay. And I think we need to move relatively quickly, because when I count 9 months, I was counting this month of April, right? So we'd have to move relatively quickly to get as many businesses in as we possibly could.
Yeah, I think Jeff nailed it. We should do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Dustin, I missed that.
I think Jeff nailed it. I think we should do what he suggested. Yeah.
Good gracious.
Jeff's idea. I think that.
Now you're gonna pump Jeff's tires.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pat him on the back. Good gracious.
It's good, like think about like at Tim Hortons, how many people look at those signs, like that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's very correct that we need to promote that sign, because I do, like I sit at that corner every day coming into town, and I do look up. So, I do like that idea. So why don't we move forward with that? Do we need a resolution for that? Do we need
I would pass a motion to spend the money.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need a motion to spend the money. So if I could have a motion so we have decided 2 businesses per month. So that's 36 businesses that we will invite, that we're going to spend the 1 week sign amount. And I can't think of the amount of money off the top of my head. Trish can clean this motion up when we're done. I think it's 35 plus chant.
It's like $1,200 or something like that. So
yeah, I think it was 1,440. I did very roughly. So let's call $1,500 just to give ourselves some leeway.
Yes.
To spend $1,500 to offer 36 businesses an opportunity to win a week's advertising space.
Maybe put random businesses.
Yeah.
So
and then and then we'll come up with, I'll help Trish, we'll come up with a method of advertising it, and then the draw might be out of 36 or it might be out of 48 or whatever, but I'll work with Trish on a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, and I think we really need to be prepared. I'm glad we decided on 1,500, that if we are saying 36 and we only have 37 interested, we give that 37th person, like we just go with it, right?
You squeeze it in.
Yeah, we work within that $1,500 budget to get as many in as we possibly can. I think it's a great idea. So, okay, motion. We'll have Trish clean that motion up later. Dustin, seconder. Somebody nod. Bert, okay, and all in favor. Perfect. I did have a about townwide garage sale. With myself knowing that we were discussing the street party, I think we ended up discussing the townwide garage sale at great length during the street party discussion. So I don't think we need to discuss it anymore. I had put it on the agenda so that it was there. But I don't, unless anybody has anything else to add, I don't feel we need to discuss it any further because we've discussed it at great length in conjunction with the street party and promotion. Unless anyone has anything.
No.
I just have a
Yep.
quick question. Sorry.
Okay.
So I guess there's a little bit of confusion around the townwide garage sale thing. So some people just they know it just happens, but I think people think there's people that plan it. So people thought it's the BIA, people thought it's the
It's
advocate.
a municipality. I had
The
a couple people
municipality.
ask me why the council hasn't announced when our townwide garage sale is yet. So
Yeah, so I'm I don't know how to clear up that confusion, but are we okay with me promoting it as the townwide yard sale weekend and get that promotion going that it's going to happen? Fastball Fest is coming. We're having our street party.
Yeah.
And I guess, and then in years going forward, do we take on promoting that weekend as part of our street party? I guess my question of the agenda item was, what do we do going forward? Because there's a lot of confusion.
I think the BIA should take it over because obviously it means a lot to us to get the people into town and the businesses. We do advertising anyways for it. And it's not hard to organize it really. You just tell everybody that's the day you were doing it, and just feed them the information. And I was going to suggest with that too, as soon as we get any advertising ready to go, do we have the email addresses for all the organizations in town too, to let them know?
you just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to ask Trish.
Yeah.
I know that we have a few organizations that are kind of am I using the right term, Trish? Honorary members of the BIA, associated members. We do have a couple that are, so I think we invite them all to come down and have a jumpy castle. Have a jumpy castle. Do whatever you would like to do. Yeah, like the Westperth Youth Center. I think we include them in what we've got going on as well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not suggesting it's something that we take over, but I just think if we're going to have a street party that weekend, maybe we could help kind of promote it every year, but not, I just don't want to see us take on the title of townwide yard sale unless that's what the board wants to do. I don't.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was agreeing with. Like, we'll promote it.
Promote it.
Okay.
Obviously, it's good for the town. It's good for the businesses and stuff like that. So why wouldn't we want to promote it?
Yep. Okay, that was my only question.
Perfect. Okay, so we had no correspondence that I'm aware of. No announcements that I'm aware of. No notices of motion. Next meeting, May 4th at 6 p.m. Will we move into in-person? Yeah, I think it's time.
I think
it's time that we go in. I know it's tough for you, Dustin, to go into in-person, and we can try to work through that as best we can. But I think it's time we go into in-person. And I know you have a busy month of May, Dustin. You have some kind of special event going on in May or something. Dustin's tying the knot, everybody, just so you know, in May. So he's a little busy. Yeah, he's taking the plunge. I still feel like you're 12. I still feel like you're that little neighbor boy that was 12 that you're not supposed to be getting married, but that's okay. Sad. What's that?
I said I grew up right next to you, so there you go.
I know. I still look at you like that little 10-year-old boy that lived next door. So we don't see you in the May meeting. We all know that you're just a smidge busy. Okay. Any other business? Anything? Any questions, concerns? Anything anyone wants to add? Look into? Yep. You good?
I have an announcement to make. I don't know whether everybody's heard or not. Maybe rumors going around town or not, but it was announced Monday that Terry and I are selling our business.
Wow.
We're selling it back to Loblaws effective July 16th.
Wow.
There's been rumors already. The store will remain open. The store is not closing. The store will remain open. The staff will remain the same. There will be new owners coming. We don't know who that is. Like I said, we sell the business back to Loblaws, and Loblaws will we'll do the hiring of the new franchisees.
Wow.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on your retirement. Good
Thank
Lord, you and my heart goes out to Terry.
You're
Having
too
to
young
spend a-
for
Stand right here beside me, but she's just off camera.
Yeah, she knows
you're
that
too
I
young.
feel
Just
for her.
so I know how Mitchell are with rumors and everything, so I just thought I'd clear it up in case anybody hears anything or anything like that. So,
Well, we appreciate that, and I will drop off a lot of wine for your wife to have to live with you in your retirement. Hopefully she can hear me.
I don't have to dress like him every day now.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, congratulations. That's a big step. I think
Yep.
that's wonderful.
oh,
You've
thank
worked
you very
hard.
much.
You've worked hard. You've earned it for sure. And we'll all wait for our invitation up to your cottage to enjoy your retirement with you.
That's where we're heading.
Excellent. All right. Well, congratulations. All right. Motion to adjourn. Heather and Dustin. Yeah. We'll just wait for Labitza to. Thanks, everyone. Adjourn at 7:01, by the way, Trish.